I am finally back from Dubai, but guys, I am packing my bags. I'm getting up and I'm leaving right away because these markets are scarier than ever. This week, we have not only the Fed deciding their interest rates, but we have some of the most monumental events taking place in crypto. And today, we're going to be discovering where is Bitcoin heading next. So should we be scared? Should we be running for the hills? And of course, guys, it's time to discover crypto. Ow!
Capital flight is coming to the United States. The dollar is going to zero.
And that's what makes Bitcoin so special.
You have to have gone through a couple cycles to understand.
Once the price is able to clear this level, the breakout is on its way.
This is your indication to jump in now.
What a nice, beautiful, cringe intro, as always. Guys, it's time to buy. No, guys, how you doing, everybody? I hope everybody's doing well. It's good to see everybody. DZ, it's great to be back in the studio finally after an apocalypse that was taking place.
You basically went through a whole ancient tale from Greek Iliad. You know, you had mermaids, you had flooding, you had cyclops, you had all types of issues, but you're here today.
Yeah, we made it somehow. We're going to be getting that footage finally back. I think our producer, it took him about 60 hours just to get there, and then he was only there for just a few hours after that. So we do have footage we're going to be rolling out and showing you guys and sharing this week, but there was so many amazing events, met a ton of great people in the industry, investors, etc., giving us great insight on where markets are heading. So and honestly, turned out to be a good time.
I got some great insight. We're going to pull up some charts later on in the show. I'm looking at some stuff on Bitcoin that's really going to make you feel like something has to happen, and it has to happen soon, and it might be better than you think.
Well, I feel like something's happening because, man, this is red. Bitcoin at 61,000. I got to refresh this. $60,851. Ethereum back above 3K, but it has been testing down just a little bit below it. Guys, smash 1 in chat if you're scared, tap 2 if you are buying, because I want to know where you guys and how you guys are feeling today. These markets are pulling back. Solana down to $128. XRP, the stable coin, just hovering there with USDC, but Dogecoin 0.5%. And really, I want to click on the losers first before we go over the winners for today, because man, ouch, we are seeing some massive falling percentage here. 11% from Lido, 11% for Say, Beam down 10%, Near Protocol down 9%. Everything is down across the board, DZ. So I'm super excited to be able to share with the stream today why this is taking place. But how are you feeling? What are you waking up to? How was Monday? I didn't even get the Monday blues. That's kind of flowing into Tuesday. What happened yesterday that markets are reacting this way?
Well, the markets are going down. It does look like we could see a little bit of reversal for some of these stronger alts, but we got a lot of shaking up happening in the news and bad ETF data. The ETF data isn't quite as bullish as a lot of people were hoping for. Hong Kong was supposed to save us, and it came out, you know what, ended up not being as big a surprise as everyone was expecting. It ended up being a little bit of a whimper.
Yeah, well, luckily our chat is stronger than ever because they all spamming too. So I'm super excited to share the charts today. We're going to be going over altcoins we're accumulating, dollar cost averaging into. We have Carlos H in here, 300 people in here. Damn, this channel fell off. Man, that's what happens when you click the live button in 3 seconds. And that's why everybody's going to tap that like button and say, I love you, Carlos, because even though you're weird, you're not a...
You know what?
That almost
Carlos,
rhymed terribly.
I love you more than Hong Kong loves Bitcoin, because Hong Kong did not love Bitcoin that much. But you know what? We love the chat, though.
Well, what we got today, I want to pull up before we get to the top 24-hour movers, because I really don't even think it matters about the top 24-hour movers. I think it's what are we buying? What are we accumulating into? You did an insane reaction video last night that I think was really good on projects that are looking, like you might want to start picking them up. But looking at signals here, we are dropping like a falling knife. I mean, when you're looking for support levels, you guys know how I use this website. You're looking for these little yellow lines. These little yellow lines are major support and resistance levels. And we're breaking through these ranges. We came down to $60,500, which is honestly insane because just a few weeks ago, we were tapping these ranges again. And above us, we do got some resistance. Now, what I want to point out first, before we get to all this in the show here today, is going to be the biggest thing I'm watching, which is the liquidation maps, guys. Yeah, if you're looking at the thumbnail, if you're tuning in for the first time, Larry Fink, the institutions, they are winning right now. And I actually have a very hot take. I don't think anybody's heard yet, but I do believe that this fear and greed index is broken. It's why we're actually working on our own here. But the crypto fear and greed index, still sitting at 67. I do not believe this is the true number for retail. I think this is institution.
It says 58 on CoinMarketCap.
58 on
Okay.
CoinMarketCap. So CoinMarketCap a little bit more updated. Let's
Yeah,
go over
because
there.
certainly people feel a little bit more bearish than a 67. 67 is not the vibe in the air. That's not what the Aether's feeling right now.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to actually, I don't even know where to find CoinMarketCaps because I know on the phone you
You
can
have to
pull
turn
it
the
up.
highlights. Cycle your highlights on.
Click
and
on
off.
this, and then
So
highlights
it might be a
are
full-
on.
It might be a full screen issue.
I'm not a
Oh,
full
yeah.
screener.
Not a full screen.
Not a full screener anymore, but I am a full porter. I am a DGen here. But yeah, unfortunately, we can't pull it up from there. So if it is still sitting at 58, I have to say, dude, going on Twitter, we're not only, managing a lot of the marketing that goes along in the industry, seeing how the money flows, we're seeing how the retail reacts. And right now in the comments, guys, I have to say, I'm sorry, it's a lot more than 57% of people that are bearish. Or
I got it right here. Some reason it's
We're
popping up
somewhere
on mine.
38.
I moved my window like a little centimeter right there, but you can see it right there. 58 out
Wow.
of 100
Yeah,
for the fear and greed.
the big bar down there.
Well, DZ, good thing I only like buying when it's at max 90. That's the only time I'm comfortable buying. I don't want a dollar cost average when it's
Yeah.
like, why would I want to buy when it's
I
in the
like
red?
to go long
Yeah.
with 30Xs when it's at 90.
Oh, of course.
I
yeah.
actually am in a long from the video last night. There was one of the coins that looked a little bit stronger than the other 9. I went long. I just want to share it. I am going to be looking at this closely. A beam long. We opened right before the stream. This is a 5-minute candle. So I did it maybe 10, 20 minutes before we went live, trying to catch this little bit of a breakout. So we are in that. I did close the Doge long, and we're in a different Doge long right now. So this one's already a stake dinner in the profit. So we're going to be watching these. Doge, I could have walked away with, more than a couple $100. I ended up walking away with only about 70. So I'm going to have a little bit tighter profit taking on this trade. And keep bouncing, baby. Keep bouncing, Doge.
Yeah. Now I'm going to ask the chat here. Is this going to be a beam me up Scotty type event where you make a ton of money? Or is it going to be like a beam me up Scotty where your money just disappears?
Well, for even suggesting my money's going to disappear, I want to spot you for that one.
Man, look at me getting some references in here today. It
That's
feels good to be back, guys.
Are you a Trekkie?
I'm a little bit of a Trekkie. But either
God.
way, guys, we got some massive events. Let's get into the events, and then we're going to get into what we're buying, what we're selling, what we're jumping into, what we're aping into. Hong Kong, though, guys, is aping into Bitcoin and Ethereum. They are launching their ETFs, and the first data has came out. Here are the details on how the ETFs reacted. Now I'm going to take a guess here. Was it poop?
It was a wet fart.
No, it was a wet fart.
Yeah. They had to change the drawers after this
with
one.
no wiping. But what I am going to tell you guys, I have to shout out China here. Their stock exchange, so much cooler than Wall Street. So much cooler. This is the intro here, and I think we have the sound. Let me get a test here.
Yeah.
We do have sound. So this is their countdown to their events on when when they list something new. And it's just so much better.
You can see the countdown
7,
has
6,
started.
Is there a
5.
Royal Rumble about to start?
Oh, watch this.
Oh, way cooler.
Way cooler. We got our little bells. We get there, we're like ding 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 ding
Yeah.
ding ding. Like, dude, no, that is way cooler than anything. So hey, maybe it didn't perform as well. And that performance here is Vivek for real coming out and saying, I need a refund. I was promised at least $300 million in volume on the first day of the Bitcoin ETFs in Hong Kong. And it does come out, and it looks like they were reporting a record $8.5 million in their first day of volume.
Yeah, it ended up being, I believe, a little bit higher by the end of the day. A couple more. I think there's one or two firms a little bit late with their reporting. Still, only like $11 million in trading volume right there.
Wow.
So very, very lackluster.
Yeah, we have the GOAT coming out here, Eric Balchunas, with kind of an in-depth analysis on it. Looks like you're right. It closed at 12.4 million.
Okay.
So that was still, though, he puts out a good reference here. It's a lot for that market. That is the equivalent to $1.6 billion in US dollars as of today. Tomorrow, that might be worth like 3.2 billion at the rate we print money. But assets much stronger, though. China AMC reporting 141 million actually in assets, equating to $22 billion in US, with 120 million of it in Bitcoin and 20 million of it in ETH. So they are ahead of the US markets no matter what in Ethereum. And of course, they are still dollar cost averaging, it looks like, and grabbing a massive portion of that Bitcoin supply.
Yeah, we got a chat from Let's Make It Happen. They aren't going to buy the top, LOL. Tons of laughing emojis. Well, folks, I got something I am going to show you on. I agree with that completely, but you might not be thinking as bullishly as me, but I lean a little bit bullish, but I got some hopium for you that I am going to dash on your plates later.
Oh, cool.
Well, Australia is hopping in on this race too with their
Like a
kangaroos.
kangaroo?
Spot Bitcoin ETFs today. If it's not kangaroo ETF, I don't know what's going to happen. But Australia's largest exchange also boosting their exposure to Bitcoin. So more adoption here.
Yeah, are they going to snatch up more Bitcoin like the dingo snatched up a baby?
Maybe. That's
Too
also
soon?
aggressive. I don't think we should show a live imagery of what that looks like.
Too soon.
But
Too soon.
too soon. Anonymous sources, though, are familiar with the matter, told by Bloomberg that the Australian Securities Exchange, the ASX, sounds so much better than the SEC. Gary Gensler, get your act together. The top equity exchange in Australia is expected to greenlight a handful of Bitcoin ETFs before the end of 2024. So why we're going to be talking about these stories today, guys, is understand while retail is panicking, maybe your friends are scoffing at you again. Pfft, I told you that Bitcoin thing is a scam. It's like, guys, we just hit like all-time highs a few months ago. Bitcoin's at $63,000, or for some reason, everyone's acting like we're at 15K again, like we're at 25K again. The only thing I would be scared of right now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, is honestly why I'm wearing this shirt today, powered by Oculus. Beautiful company, guys. When we're at these, lower levels, retail's getting all, shutter shock. They're getting scared. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to manage their assets. That's when they start pulling their money off exchanges. And that's where a lot of the smaller exchanges really start to struggle. So that's why you want to get yourself self-custody, get yourself a hardware wallet. We have the link in the description below. That is the only thing you should be focusing on right now, is get that money off exchanges. You need to be your own bank. We just had the 6th U.S. bank collapse on Friday, and everybody's acting like nothing freaking happened, right? Like all of our elitists are like, hey, our economy's fine, even though we have $1 trillion in interest rate payments alone. We suck at budgeting. If no American votes on something, it still has a 30% chance at passing. And if every American, this is what you were telling me, who was telling me this earlier? I think it was Tim, is like, if every American decides to vote yes on something, it's still only a 30% chance of happening. So get your crypto off exchanges, because at the end of the day, it's going to be Wall Street and the kleptocracy that's kind of running this. But before we rant on and get crazy with these streams, buying Bitcoin is the only way to hedge against this. And this is why you have Australia, Hong Kong, all of these countries are opening themselves up to these ETFs. It's where the money is flooding right now.
And, they say once bitten, twice shy. I think we kind of got bit by Hong Kong ETFs. And now I think the Australian ETFs, people are going to have lowered expectations. And so if we just come in with the normal day of trading, probably not going to see a red day like we see today. But if we see some bullish action, because they do have over, trillions of dollars in their pension fund, if we could get a little bit of some bullish action right there, that's when we get an outperform green candle day. It's $2.3 trillion pension market.
And I have to ask the chat too, put one, I better see only ones on this, but how many of you have hardware wallets? Put one in chat if you do, two if you don't. I'm very curious to know how many of you self-custody.
Where's our Oculus at? Ooh, I can see it right there.
I will never tell you. Well, we have
tell
more.
me your seed phrase. That's all I need.
Did you just see that? Well, actually, I think we have it in here with like the Twitter seeds exposed.
Oh my God, I thought you had your seed phrase.
They leaked the
you save it on
encyclopedia.
Notepad.
They leaked every single seed phrase word.
Oh, it's good to see chat. Guys, hey, if you have a 2 in chat, you know what to do. Click the link in the description below. Morgan Stanley ups the ante on Bitcoin ETFs here. American multinational investment bank Morgan Stanley has filed the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission to get Bitcoin ETF exposure for 12 of its funds. So DZ, let me get this. I need just some clarity, because I think this is what's happening. Retail is panicking. We are selling. We're being told to sell. This is a scam of an industry. But for some reason, the financial institutions are gaining more exposure. Does that make sense? Is that where my head's at right now?
That makes perfect sense, because what happens every single cycle is the whales get bigger and then a bunch of minnows get swallowed up. And so you don't want to be a minnow. You don't want to be plankton. You don't want to be shrimp poop at the bottom of the ocean. You want to swim with the whales, swim with the sharks. So even if you got a small bag, ride in their wake and copy their moves, follow their moves. You're going to be better off in the end.
Yeah, and now we have Morgan Stanley saying just that. They are saying, despite the risk of investing in spot Bitcoin ETFs, they're reporting last week that Morgan Stanley could potentially allow thousands of its brokers to solicit, so to just shill. Their brokers are going to be shillers, purchases for red hot Bitcoin ETFs. Now, this was a really cool highlight at the bottom of this, because Bernstein, according to them, the recent wave of Bitcoin ETF outflows is only a temporary pause, meaning that analysts should not read much into it. They're saying, well, don't read much into it because banks are, I don't know why they're saying this. My thoughts immediately go to Well, yeah, because, the United States is in shambles right now when it comes to budgeting, and we're just going to keep pushing everybody towards Bitcoin in the long, like the flows are going to come back to the Bitcoin ETFs.
Well, yeah, more and more people are waking up. It's about our only escape hatch. And so, yeah, as America goes further and further into a tailspin with its currency, I'm not saying, the whole country's going to collapse, but the currency is certainly in the beginning stages of a collapse. It's just becoming more apparent every single day.
Yeah, definitely agree. Well, we have just in $140 million liquidated from the cryptocurrency market in the past 4 hours. This was at 8:43 a.m., which means with the 2 hours that have gone by, we're probably pushing $250 million now in liquidations on the cryptocurrency market with the volatility that we are seeing. Now, where are we heading? Okay, that's what you all want to know in chat. So give me your price predictions. Tell me what is going to be Bitcoin's bottom before we get a reversal. Are we going to get a reversal? But give me your price predictions, because most analysts are predicting $59,600, and they explain why in this story here. So Bitcoin bulls may soon be back in business, because right now we have no liquidity, apparently. And according to Willy Woo, an on-chain analyst expert, market data shows that urgent market sells responsible for forcing the coin from all-time highs are now falling. The development may prop up prices, preventing further sell-off. So this is kind of the chart pattern that he's showing, where he says that Bitcoin must reject selling pressure and end the current short-term weakness as things stand. Now, that sounds super basic. It's like, no shit, Josh. Yeah, people need to stop selling so price goes up. And yeah, that's kind of how just the markets work. But as on-chain shows, Bitcoin should stay above $59,600. And if we can, that will confirm that we will get that bullish sentiment back to the upside. If we break that $59,600, guys, between patterns and all your TA experts out there, you're looking for a pretty significant volatile drop down to like $55,000, even $50,000. Now, there are some very, very bullish reasons why I think we're going to see more upside. And we're going to get to that at the end of this episode. So make sure you guys smash that like button and stick around. We got to go through the bear stuff first.
We got to freak people out. We got to make them scared.
We got to shake them. We got to shake them until they understand. Just like what's that scene from Airplane? Just keep slapping them.
I feel like you teleported to a different dimension for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were actually really choking somebody. Who was in your hands just then?
It was a lot of different people, but that was specifically Joe Biden with the 44% proposal tax that I saw recently.
It was the guy that was clouding the seat or seating the cloud.
It was every Republican and Democrat politician that was voting to ban TikTok, because they're like, we need the billions of dollars in America. Like, they're just greedy politicians. That's who I'm choking out.
But you just repeated yourself.
Well, I was going to make a terrible joke. Let's move before we start talking about too much choking and where that gets to.
Hey,
Pelosi.
No, Bitcoin's price is choking.
As long as you talk
on
about
sell
it,
pressure, DZ.
as long as you agree on it ahead of time.
This is family friendly, Nick.
It is.
Well, thus far, Bitcoin is under immense selling pressure, shaving approximately 15% from its all-time highs. The coin is supported at around $60,000 to $61,000. Now, I really think we're going to see more. Let's see if this uploads right here. It's going to say server disconnect here. This is a really bullish trend line that we are watching right now. This is one of, most analysts' favorite.
You're in mine, so I'm not going to touch it.
Oh, is that what's happening?
Yeah, you got trading.
I'm giving it to you.
Now.
Take it over. Because this line is really good.
Well, that is a great trend line. I don't have that trend line pulled up just now, but I could pull it up in a second. We're looking at a couple things. Should I start with the small time frames or the large time frames? Josh, I'll let you run it here.
Well, I think those small time frames are average, if you ask me. So we should start with those.
All right, let's start with, all right, so the first thing we're looking at, I know DZ said small time frame, so he means like the 1 minute. No, we're actually looking at the 4-hour chart right now. Let me just go ahead and connect. I want to make sure. All right, so we got weekly, monthly, 4 hours. So 4-hour chart, we're seeing a pretty strong level of an area where we want to bounce. You can see we bounce from here, bounce from there, bounce from there. Fell below it a little bit, but didn't really get any candle bodies below that area. You can just see it is all wicks below that area, except for that one candle, which did not close, and then that candle closed directly above it. Now, let me show you something that's going to make you feel a little bit bullish. We are seeing a little bit of a bullish divergence on the RSI. This is with the Lux Algo indicator. Big shout out to Lux Algo. So I want to point out two things. One, we had a bullish indicator on the 4-hour, or we had bullish divergence on the 4-hour not that long ago. And what happened then? Well, you can see bullish divergence. We got a lower low for the price. Meanwhile, the RSI is getting higher. This is typically a bullish sign. This happens a lot of times. I've noticed this happening with bullish divergence. It will fake you out for one additional dump. Why? Everybody sees this, everybody goes long, and the market has to wreck those people that got too greedy with the high leverage. And then boom. So we got the bullish divergence and then a mini dump. And what did we see right here? We got that bullish divergence, and then we got a little bit of a mini dump. And then the mini dump came in and with a little bit of a second retest to the downside. Josh, you're kicking me out of trading.
My bad. I just clicked off of it.
I'm joking. Now,
I knew I did.
Something that makes me even more bullish, this period right here, when we had that bullish divergence, money flow heading into the red. Where or do we have money flow heading into the red now? In fact, it might be heading back into the green. And if we want it, well, we don't know, right? We're at that point. Maybe it's going to head up. It could definitely head back to the downside. So let's look at the 2 hour. Let's shrink this time frame a little bit and see what the money flow is doing. The money flow looks like it could potentially head into the green for the 4 hour. So we get the bullish divergence, the fake retest to wreck out all the longs, and we get money flow moving into the green. I expect some a really, really good short relief bounce. Now, maybe this relief bounce will just be something like we saw right there, you know, a 12% pump. What is this? This is over 5 days. I'm not saying we're going straight to 80K. I'm saying we are due for a short relief bounce. And then I look at some other things and it makes me feel a little bit better, makes me feel a little bit of convergence. A little bit of a cup and handle is forming right now. Kimmer, this was I saw this on Banter. Was it Kyle? I forget the other guy's name. So I want to give him a shout out there. So do we have the cup? Check. This is Bitcoin Weekly, by the way. Do we have the handle? The handle is starting to form. And so what does that level look like if this cup and handle does form? Oh, one last thing. Do we have the tops of the cup? Yes, we do have the tops of the cup. So what does this price target start to look like, folks? Well, if you go ahead and go from the bottom of the cup, get it to the top of the cup, or bottom of the cup to the top of the cup, and then do it from the breakout of the bottom of the handle. Let's just go a little bit bearish. Let's say it goes even a little bit lower. $110,000 Bitcoin. Last chart I want to show you on Bitcoin real quick. This is the monthly chart, and I just saw something that looked very, very good. Shout out to Ivan on Tech pointing this out on the monthly. He brought up a good point. Wall Street, smart money, they're coming in. They don't want to buy the top. They don't want to buy the umpteenth green monthly candle. Look how many green monthly candles Bitcoin just had. It had 7 green monthly candles. And now look where this monthly candle is now bottoming out. Now, it looked a little bit better an hour or two ago because we were a little bit lower. But you can see the bottom of this candle looks like it wants to bounce right off this level, bounce right off this level. And folks, we only have 9 hours left until this monthly candle closes. And so if you're if you're a Wall Street trader, you're Morgan Stanley broker. You are the thing that's going to pump Bitcoin. You are the Morgan Stanley broker. Do you really want to give your clients this asset when it's in its 8th or 9th green month? You might hesitate a little bit. In fact, you might say, you know, I'm really interested in this asset, but I think it's due for a pullback. However, if you see a big, fat, stretched out, juicy monthly candle, and you know there's a lot of interest, you know there's a 4-year cycle, you know there's a money printer that's just going out of control, then you're more likely to recommend a Bitcoin ETF. And so seeing this red monthly candle bounce off that level, strong levels of support, it makes me feel a little bit bullish.
Yeah, no, and I would say I agree with everything you're saying. There's so much we can dive into this. So for everybody coming in, we're going to pause a little bit for the charts. I'm going to explain kind of my thoughts. I want to get your thoughts on this too. Because, you know, you have people coming in, they're like, yo, what about this call? What about that call? And guys, this is the reality of the situation. When Bitcoin drops by 5-10%, if you're going to be a bag holder, you're going to have to get used to 90% volatility dips, 50, 60, 70%. That is normal in altcoins. If you can't handle that, stop fucking bag holding, okay? And I have to cuss on that one because seriously, you need to take profits. This is why you can't get greedy with those 20, 40, 200% gains. There's products in the chats. You know, we have someone going, you know, how's that LFG call? Well, you know, again, LFG was a play off the Runes protocol ecosystem. Dog went to a $500 million market cap. In the video, I explained, I sold all my AI tokens. I'm off the table for Bitcoin DeFi. I'm still incredibly bullish on it. Love my ordi swap, etc. That stuff. But I was taking a gamble on those airdrops. Did it have its issues? Yes. LFG did a 10x, right? So if you can't take profits on the way up, you got to make that decision. Can you hold through these dips? Because your altcoins, if you guys are going to be that person that comes in and asks, and this is completely okay, because, you know, I was in your shoes 5, 6, 7 years ago. I don't even remember what date it is at this point. But when you guys are asking those questions, you know, the answer to what's happening to my favorite altcoin, blank, the answer is it's following Bitcoin. It's following Ethereum. So if Ethereum's down 10, 15%, more than likely Bitcoin's down 5, 6%. Your altcoins are going to be down 30, 40%. It follows the liquidity in these markets. And so again, if you can't hold through those, that's where you have to, just like you dollar cost average into a market, guys, you have to dollar cost average out. If you don't, this is what happens.
Yep.
When we get these dips to $60,000 and we are now at discounted rates that we haven't seen in months, if not quarters,
Absolutely.
you're not going to have any liquidity to dollar cost average back in. And then finally, after you save up some capital, 2-3 months, you're getting your checks. You got, maybe you build up a few $1,000s, few $100s to finally buy back in that market. You FOMO back in when we hit all-time highs. It's repetition. There's a reason why we go over psychology of the markets. It's because it exists. That's how markets rotate. So that's kind of what I'm seeing in these markets right now.
It's
we're
the
getting
Dave
that fear.
Portnoy strategy.
Yeah.
It's exactly, Dave Portnoy has hundreds of millions of dollars after selling Barstool. Oh, he bought it for $1. He is the perfect test of retail, and what does he do? He buys the meme coin. That's not the right meme coin. He sells at the bottom. He buys at the top. And so, Dave Portnoy, now he's starting to show a little bit of interest in Bitcoin, and he's kind of waiting for that little bit of a pullback. This is, it's just a good litmus for retail. There's a lot of people will be trying to buy as soon as we get a new all-time high. You called it. As soon as we get 75K, we're gonna say, oh, that Bitcoin, and then they're gonna hear a $200,000 price target, $250,000 price target, $500,000. They don't mind buying that at $75,000.
Yeah, and just like us, to your guys' to everybody in chat, your friends are gonna go, is it a good time to buy? At $75,000, they're gonna come to you like,
Yep.
Easy, Josh. Everybody in chat, you guys are all, crypto. You guys are all altcoiners, right? Your friends and family like, hey, is it at $80,000? Is it a good time to buy? You're like, well, why didn't you buy the last 660 days of the insane volatility that we put our blood, sweat, and tears into, right? So I want to show this because there's proof to this, right? I'm spitballing like, Josh, maybe sounds like it makes sense. This is coming from Mr. Crypto on Twitter. It's a great point out. Look how many 20% pullbacks we have. We don't have 30, 40% pullbacks in Bitcoin this cycle. It's institutional play.
I've talked about this till I was blue in the face. Yeah. Well, the 20% within 1 or 2 percentage points deviation.
Yeah, exactly.
Again.
And it's the 5th time, right? So I think DZ was pointing this out while I was watching and tuning in during the week too. We were going over the charts. It's like we're now at this point where we look at this. Since the bottom of the market, guys, $15,000 Bitcoin, you had a pump, 21% dip. You had a pump, 20% dip. Stayed sideways, 20% dip. We pumped again, 20% dip. It's always a 20% dip. Now we're at that 20% dip again, and history shows, the data shows, it can't guarantee the future. Me and DZ can't sit here and rub a crystal ball, rub, some clear crystal that will tell us, hey, this is going to be at $89,000 on, September 29th of 2025, right? We can't do that. What we can do is show you the probability. History shows the last 4 times we hit a 20% dip, we saw massive gains afterwards, which is huge probabilities, right? So that's what we're looking for.
We got a $5 super chat. P Thunder, take profits and compound the coins you believe in. Just got more Arrow from a alt that he rolled profits into earlier. Someone else earlier, are you still bullish on Arrow? I did a live stream yesterday. A lot of people still asking about Arrow. Honestly, it's around 90 cents right now. I think it dipped down to 84 cents earlier in the day. I almost DCA'd just right then on Coinbase. But I want to wait. It could fall a little bit more, and I don't mind waiting till Friday. If I miss if it goes above $1, I've already jumped in early. I already took profits, rolled it into some other strong alts that I believed in, just because kind of just grow and grow. If we keep dipping, I'm definitely going to start buying. I am bullish on.
I agree. I love Arrow, and I also love Velo. So those are both which is Verodrome. So both those projects I'm really watching. I'm gonna pull up Aerodrome too in just a second. Velodrome. Testing huge resistance. That 12-cent level, support. Huge resistance there. So again, this is where you guys want to start. While everybody's fearing and running for the hills, be like, screw influencers, whatever it is. Like, look for the opportunity to accumulate here, right? So let me go back to AER, Aerodrome, 90 cents, right? So Velo, by the way, guys, is going to follow Aerodrome like identically. They're from the same project. We're now coming down to that 90 cent. It looks like 80 cents. At 80 cents, we're going to have some support. Again, these are new projects. So 80, I would say that 75, 80 cent range, which we're almost at, could be some really good accumulation zones if you guys missed out on that first rally.
And I will say, I almost want to open along from here because this is doing the same thing that I was talking about earlier. We got a little bit of a bullish divergence within just to get everybody feeling real bullish, a little scam wick, and then it dumps again to wreck all the longs. I don't know, what is the exact level it's going to bounce from, but I really do like this level because kind of playing with this little level of support right there. Yeah, pretty bullish on Arrow. I don't know, man. Next time you talk, I might open along. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't know. I feel like I should open 20 minutes ago. But maybe I won't.
Dang it! Should have followed up. But of course, that's what we're doing, guys. Not financial advice. You guys know how this works. But there are 8 billion people on the planet. So let's get to the news today, guys. Then we're gonna get to some more altcoin picks, degenerate picks, and what we're doing in these markets. We got more charts. This is a very action-packed stream today. All the news, everything you need in one place.
And then me and Josh are going to do an arm wrestling match at the end. Very action-packed.
That's going to be intense. We know what we should do? A slapping contest. Just get the chalk, just boom. You would knock me out, dude. Too. I don't think I would take a temple slap pretty well at all. But guys, this is where we're at. So, markets are struggling on the financial front on a geopolitical scale. We just saw the bailout, of course, of the Japanese Bank of Japan intervention with the yen. We know where the world's heading with the old fractional banking system. There are 8 billion people on the planet. 1 in 25,000 people
are watching Discover Crypto.
I wish.
That's fire. That was clean. And that's a new intro.
I thought that's what you were gonna. I thought
exactly.
I was finishing.
It is. It's why we need to smash that like button.
Yeah,
and
that's
subscribe
why our
to the
likes
channel.
need to be a little bit higher right now.
Thank you guys for all the love, the support. You guys are amazing. But yeah, do your best, guys. That's crazy to think about. 1 in 25,000 people are able to own 1 Bitcoin right now. Just imagine when 2 out of 25,000 people own 1 Bitcoin. Again, that's when we're going to be pushing those $100,000 ranges.
My favorite stat of all, there's 21 million Bitcoin that are ever going to be produced, and there's 60 million millionaires. And so that's 3 millionaires fighting for 1 Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And so, getting 1 coin is going to be the name of the game. It's going to be very rare, say 10, 20, 30 years from now.
Well, the Trust Me Bro source of 2008's financial crash
that's
is
my
telling,
favorite source, by the way.
It's a favorite source. To trust them. They're never going to do what's best for them. They're always going to do what's best for their customers. We know how that ended. Well, KPMG says institutional investors, so the investors, guys, not the institutions, but their investors, the billionaires, the 100 millionaires, the wealthy of the world, so to speak, are looking to crypto. Get this. As a debasement hedge amid rising U.S. national debt. So Big Four accounting firm KPMG says that investors are warming up to crypto as they start to get scared by the fiat currencies of the central bank. In a new report, they are looking at the Canadian market, the worst market in all worlds. Justin Trudeau is literally bottom of the barrel scum. I don't know if you just saw, we're going to get to it in a second because it's 67 taxes, but says that in 2023, half of financial service providers polled in the country offered crypto asset services, up from 41% in 2021. The study also finds that 39% of Canadian institutional investors had crypto exposure in 2023, rising 31%. You guys got to realize these number of gains. That's massive. That's exponential increase. Rising U.S. debt combined with increasing inflation likely provided a catalyst for the crypto rally of 2023. And it appears investors are looking for alternative asset classes that act as a debasement hedge and a reliable store of value. And that is becoming more and more dominant. The US dollar is just getting weaker and weaker. They cannot budget. They don't know how to budget. Our interest rate alone is now $1 trillion. It is ridiculous. So at that point, imagine if just $1 trillion of that printed money moved over into crypto, because the investors, it doesn't matter about the institutions, it's their investors. And the institutions, to keep their clients, they have to do what their investors want, or else they're going to lose clients. So I think we're going to see more and more of this adoption. And this is very bullish for 2024 and very, very bullish for 2025 as institutional investors start really saying, hey, what the F? Get me out of here. I need a hedge.
Speaking of investing, someone's asking about a token. It's an NFT that mines Bitcoin without you having to have any hardware. That's a business model for a lot of NFT tokens. I would just say you really got to do your research. How much money did they spend on equipment, and then divide that by the number of NFTs and look at the cost of the NFT and look what that would earn in a year, and just do the math for yourself. I don't want to tell you without knowing the specifics, but that's not a unique thing. A few NFTs do that. Yeah. Derp Birds. Shout out to Cardano, Dave Derp. Give you a shout out. That's something that they do as well.
Derp is the word. You know how it is.
Bird.
There it is. But we have speaking of interest payments, right? So this is the chart, guys. Look how this looks like a meme coin. U.S. interest payments alone exceed $1 trillion for the first time in history, exceeding spending on national defense. Yeah, we have more money to pay in interest payments than we spend on our national defense. What they continuously try to say, hey, we should raise taxes so we can afford more wars.
Michael Burry, we played a video yesterday. He said, because of this metric, we are now officially a Ponzi. The US dollar is officially a Ponzi Do you think that's too strong a classification, or would you say, you know what, we are a Ponzi, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it?
Yeah, everything's a Ponzi at this point, and nobody knows what's happening. It's like, what does a credential for a financial advisor, like if someone goes, I have 50 years experience in financial markets, it's like, dude, what do those credentials even matter at this point? Like we're seeing, like, it's no longer cracks in the surface. It's the markets are breaking. This obviously isn't sustainable, and it's going to continuously just make the wealthiest wealthier and the poorest poorer. Like it's just creating this massive wealth gap. We can't afford this, and this is where they come out and start saying, oh, it's because of crypto. We need to tax crypto more. Guess what, guys? Even if they were to tax, let's say 50% of capital gains on crypto, what are we looking at? $4 billion added to the US Treasury, $10 billion added to the US Treasury max. That doesn't even make up I want to cuss so much
That's
today.
one Ukraine payment.
Yeah, it doesn't even cost 1% of our overall our interest rate payments. So we are in a bad position in these markets. US debt is actually more than all of the US in the world. Get that. The US debt is actually more than all of the US dollars circulating in the world. M2 money is 20.8 trillion and M3 money is 20.9 trillion as of last year when they discontinued the measurement. That is just, that hurts to even think about. We have Carl coming out here saying, US bondholders, how are you going to pay us back, right? So now the US, everybody's getting scared of the US. They're like, hey, US, what are you going to do? How are you going to get out of this?
Yeah.
And the US government is responding with this from Dumb and Dumber.
Every intention of fully reimbursing you. Open it up. Open it up!
It's a prop. YouTube, it's a prop.
Do what he says.
Yeah, it's a water gun.
The water gun.
It
It's
squirts out hot sauce.
a water tool.
I don't know if you've ever seen cone heads, air heads.
What is
Same
this?
thing.
What is this? Where's all the money? That's as good as money, sir. Those are IOUs. Go ahead and add it up. Every cent's accounted for. Look. See this? That's a car. 275,000.
Just holds up an IOU post-it stamp. I owe you $275,000. That is actually what the U.S. is saying. They're saying, well, I owe you, and you can trust us because for the last 100 years, we've been, the rulers of the current, system of the world. That is like their actual only response at this point. They have no budgetary response. They don't know how to fix the deficit. The only people that are running that even know how to fix the deficit probably have very little chance at even running to actually obtain that position. You have to choose between either one of two entities at this point, and it's choosing, okay, do you want socioeconomics or do you want to maybe fix, our finances for 4 more years? Like we have the two worst possible options with two very diverse options. And it's like, there's no way out of that. Like as an American, it's one or the other. And it's so alarming when you realize like how true that is when you leave the country. If you leave to the country, you go to any other country, they'll ask you like, so do you have any other choice than Biden and Trump? Because all they say is their mainstream media, who's only going to cover Trump and Biden. We go, well, I mean, not really. Yeah. I mean, you really don't have a choice. And then, well, can you guys vote to make this change? What if every American wanted somebody else? It's like, well, no, because of gerrymandering and political laws that have been embedded over the last 50 years through corporate lobbying. No, not really. It's really up to the corporations. So it's a kleptocracy. It's an actual kleptocracy.
Yeah, there's something I've said for years. Anytime left and right agrees, it's typically against you. It's not for your benefit. And then, keeping a two-party system is something that they agree upon, which would be in that example. It's not good for you. There's what they have in Europe with multi-party system seems to work a lot better.
Yeah, I get ahead of myself sometimes because the next tweet over was
the guy,
Robert
our third choice. We do, I thought you were leading it up, and I was like, I don't think he's leading it up.
I didn't even mean to lead that up.
Is it his voice?
But is it a third choice? Like we don't even know. Like if you vote, like it's like, okay, what's the impact there? Here's what RFK had to say. It's only 50 seconds, and it's just a very true statement. Whether you like him or not, I think it's just a very powerful statement.
Hang on. Back up.
You got to back up.
Yep.
There we go.
There you go.
Now, we've adopted a lot of policies, and particularly the way the Fed is operated, which is a criminal agency, right? It's just a vacuum cleaner for Wall Street to shift wealth upward to this, to this kleptocracy, and it's a captured agency. They're all captured, right? The CIA is captured by the military-industrial complex. Its function is just to give us a pipeline of new wars. The Fed is captured by Wall Street to consolidate all the banks, so all of them are too big to fail. It's not making more banks, right? It's making fewer and fewer every year, and it's all, you know, it's all designed to shift wealth upward, and we financialize the economy and destroyed our industrial base, and we need to reverse those policies. And the good news is this: we have a terrible, you know.
The good news is this: we have a terrible, and then it cuts off there. But I mean, to the point, guys. And again, there's things I don't agree with RFK whatsoever on. But again, this. My point is the vacuum of what the Federal Reserve is with Wall Street. It is a vacuum. They suck up all the liquidity, all the money. Then at the same time, you have politicians gaslighting you over and over, like Jeff Jackson on TikTok. Jeff Jackson is a nobody without his TikTok platform. Cool. Like, dude, thanks for serving our military, but you just used a platform to grow millions of followers, you know, speaking like you're for the people, you're against the corruption, to immediately turn around and fold to the corruption. There is no, like, and they're like, oh, well, we have high security that we can't disclose, unclassified things we can't talk about, or classified documents we can't release to you on why TikTok is bad for America. No, the only reason why TikTok is bad for America is because it makes China money. And that is pissing off Meta, that's pissing off all these other social media platforms. And that's why you have Kevin O'Leary coming out on like mainstream news saying, man, I better be first in line to suck up that money. Because all they want, guys, is that greed. They want that money. They want that control. They want that narrative. Again, everything's open source. It's through Oracle. We know the platforms. I'm going to hold back there. Either way, moving on, though, we have Trudeau. Dude, it just gets worse with the news. Trudeau proposing 67% capital gains tax. Canadians in the chat. I know we have Canadians out there. Let me know if you're here. How do you feel about a 67%? Your hard-earned capital. You could be working in a Web3 company. Guess what? Everything you're making in crypto, they're going to be focusing on just target. And it's not even just crypto. It's stocks, too, on top of this. But now 67%. At what point do you just give the government all of your money and they go, hey, we're going to give you a stipend every month?
Yeah.
You're going to work for free. You're actually not going to get paid. We're going to just determine based off of
it's not even cash. It's just a cup of maple syrup. That's all you get. We got a $5 super chat, IOTX. I mean, I kind of, it's a good business model, but it is an older coin. So, I mean, I have to see, are they shipping product? That's what you really need to look at. Look at their GitHub submissions. And I'll tell you, it's a $500 million market cap. So that is kind of high already. One more thing. Oh yeah. A lot of people talking about his voice. Hot takes on his voice. He needs a different voice to get more popular. Sounds like a robot that needs his batteries changed. That is a heavy smoker there.
It's so sus. Like I don't mean to put the tinfoil hat on, but I mean, come on. The uncle gone, his father gone, his voice gone.
I mean,
what are just
maybe
the
got
odds?
hit with a little dart or something.
Really?
You know,
I mean, it just,
knows?
Yeah, I don't know. It was the jab. No, I'm just kidding.
Someone's saying he didn't do anything his whole life. He was an activist lawyer, and it's my understanding he did a good job cleaning up Hudson River. I don't know how true that is, though. But
I don't know.
And then apparently that was like his passion project, and he did a lot to get the pollution out of there.
Yeah.
Check your own.
I mean, and then again, like, well, let's check your other options. Trump, okay, business background, bankruptcy, but huge media presence, also still successful. Can't argue that.
Does
right,
Ross
both
Perot's son want to run
you have,
or something?
Biden's like, I was top of my class. He was like 77 to actually pass. He's like lied like throughout history. He just said his uncle got eaten by cannibals. Like what? Like where? Okay, so we're give me a fourth option, please. We're begging you. Where are we gonna go with this?
You know what? I'm at least 35 years old. Maybe it's me.
maybe. Yeah. You know what it is actually? It's completely. It's all DZ's fault. We'll just go with that.
No, I'm saying I'm gonna run.
Oh, you're gonna run.
Fourth, yeah, I'm
that's
the
right.
fourth. Yeah, you just got to be 35 and born in America.
Man, maybe. And then Deaton is the VP.
Actually, I'll work in Deaton's cabinet.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
We have we have the solution. Well, speaking of solutions that retail don't get access to, Blackstone BX has sold 1740 Broadway in New York for $185 million. They bought it for $605 million in 2014, meaning they took a $420 million loss. Something tells me that just helped them with their own books. Past that, we have lawmakers using Biden administration to address rogue nations evading sanctions via crypto. Again, trying to scare regulators into enforcing higher proposal tax, higher cuts on, higher KYC, whatever it is, all these restrictions and everything that are on retail. They want to consume more and more money is all you need to be aware from this. Seriously, guys, if you're for crypto at all, like you have to choose the best option because there's one administration specifically, and I don't mean to be that guy that's playing sides on this, but seriously, if you want crypto to succeed in the US and not force it out of this country, It's moving. The UK is like plummeting. Like British are all moving to Dubai. Their residency is way easier than America. In America, you're pretty much stuck. You can't really leave the US. It's funny. Land of the free, home of the stuck. You can't really leave this country if you want to, develop business without revoking your citizenship.
Yeah, you have to denounce.
Yeah, you have to. They make it complicated. So, Canada, though, I mean, seriously, at this point, you can't leave and you don't make money? Like, I don't know what you're doing in Canada. I'm sorry, guys. Love you all. Even though you're our neighbors, we got to stand together. I don't know what's up on this. Either way, we have a stablecoin giant pouring $200 million into brain-computer interface company BlackRock Neurotech. That sounds like a whole wow. Let's get into this. According to the announcement, BlackRock Neurotech's BCI technology has already helped physically impaired individuals with tasks like driving, typing, and web browsing, all controlled by their thoughts. It's the new Neuralink. Neurotech is just the beginning journey with the Tether Evo to venture into projects that redefine the boundaries of what's possible at the intersection of technological innovation. Maybe Tether will start mining Bitcoin with their brains. BlackRock Neurotech represents a leap towards a future where technology not only complements but enhances our human experience, and we have Tether Power. So that's a huge investment going into AI from the largest money printer in crypto. SEC has secretly considered Ethereum as an unregistered security for years. We've seen these filings over and over and over again. And Eleanor Tourette points out very clearly on Twitter, House Financial Services Committee Chairman Patrick McHenry told me the following. So she spoke with him in regards to the redacted consensus filings detailing the SEC's investigation to Ethereum. Yada, yada, yada. Long story short, another example of arbitrary, capricious nature of the agency's regulation by enforcement. So essentially, Gary Gensler, again, not for the people. He is just standing. Well, he's not standing by the people either. He's standing by the corporation, by the lobbies, by whatever his cabinet and his party that pays his, even though we pay his salary. No idea how this works anymore. It's all corrupted and they just want to regulate by enforcement. And it's very, very clear they're scared on what crypto is doing to fractional banking. The US has had fractional banking for over 100 years. And that fractional banking is no longer even fractional banking. It's just endless. Like, what was the term? You used this the other day.
Fictional banking.
Fictional banking. That's what I heard. Yeah. Which is just a great term to kind of explain what's going on. Their system is so broken and so corrupted. It's cascaded. Ever since we came off the gold standard in 1971, there was no more accountability on the amount of money that was being printed. And it's been all, trust me, bro source with the government. The Pentagon can't pass audits. For who knows if we even have gold in our reserves, right? Oh yeah, it's all in Fort Knox or wherever. Again, who knows? We have zero trust in this government because of the lobbying and all the effects they've had on us over the last 50 years.
That is a good point. If you're just say, here's what the U.S. government says we have at Fort Knox in pounds or tonnage. Do you believe this number? I'm just going to say, I find it unlikely it'd be highly accurate. Nicole bringing up a good question here. You're not allowed to have dual citizenship anymore. No, you can have dual citizenship, but you have to pay taxes in America for the rest of your life to avoid paying taxes. Even if you're earning money in a different country, you still have tax liabilities. Then you have to denounce to get rid of your tax liabilities.
Yeah, and I think like if you marry someone out of the country, there's still ways around. But what I'm saying, it's very complicated. And like when I was just in Dubai sitting with everybody, like there's very few Americans out there. It was all people from Australia, Europe, all over kind of even Asia. Everybody's flooding, all the entrepreneurs. And it's funny, guys, it's all 20 to 35-year-olds in Dubai. Like that's like the average age group out there. And they're all crushing it. But every single conversation I had almost led to like, how's it in the States? How's it in Canada? Like that must suck to be over there.
Actually saying like, how often do you see people sleeping naked on the sidewalk? Did you get any weird questions like that? Like, do you walk by homeless? Oh
yeah, they would be like,
what are their thoughts?
Half the people over there, like, it doesn't make sense for them to travel to America, like not even New York anymore, because they're like, why would I go there if I have to go pay all these taxes, do all this travel? I'm now 12 hours behind, so they can't rely on their clients because their time difference is too much. They have no incentivization to come to the United States. And now with these tax proposals and everything, they're like, they see three things. The immigration issue, they see obviously Trump and Biden, and they see school shootings and stuff. So they're actually like scared to like come to the States. Like that was the majority of the conversations. But then like past that was, why don't you get residency outside the US? And it's like, well, it's much more complicated than that. And then even if you decide to go to like Puerto Rico or something like a U.S. territory,
like Sammy the Bull says, just move to Puerto Rico, but you do have to live there.
Still got to live there for
half.
over half. And that's what makes it difficult. In Europe, it's 1 day, and like Australia, I think it's 1 day. So you can get citizenship, you can get residency elsewhere, and you just have to be there 1 day out of the year. And it would even be 3 months. You could talk about 3 months, right? But 6 months, they purposely do that to try to consolidate and keep all the money in the U.S. It's very interesting. Either way, though, guys, we have crypto law now with Gary Gensler a month after the U.S. I don't think we need to hear Gary Gensler speak here. We know the yada yada.
Yada yada yada. Now I'm really tired.
Vague. I'm tired, and I'm going to just drop another proposal.
I love the yada yada class. It's like, hey guys, I'm Gary Gensler. We're looking at Ethereum. Yada yada yada. It's a security. You're like, well, wait a minute. You're kind of missing a whole bunch with the yada yada yada. There's a classic Seinfeld reference.
Yada yada yada.
Some people you get it.
Well, yada yada yada. I think this is where Bitcoin's heading next. So, to be honest, guys, I believe this is and I would want to take a poll in here. We'll have to take it on Twitter. But I think the worst capitulation would be upside to $75,000 Bitcoin, because we're at this level now. I'm watching it, and the influencers are all getting antsy. They're all getting scared. I see it in the marketing projects. They're all like, "Oh, we got to put all the money down now and waste our liquidity while markets are dropping," because they don't even these altcoin projects, guys. A lot of them are really good companies, but they have no idea how to effectively market. So they'll be like, "Oh no, we need to deploy now," and it's like, well, you can't deploy capital into a market that's dropping with Bitcoin. Like, it's going to just follow and cascade. Retailers are scared. When prices are down, influencers and retailers are scared. They're very hesitant. They're really fragile people, right? So when I see that taking place, I know right now, and I just truly believe this, I think probably 75% of my audience, and this, I think everybody tuning into the YouTube channel right now, you guys watching the live streams, you guys are ahead of the curve. You guys are the ones getting the self-custody. You guys are the ones that are prepared for these markets, prepared for these dips. Maybe you've been here for multiple cycles, but 75% of my audience is always going to be new, coming in with the new markets. And I would imagine they're all sidelined right now, or they're selling at losses. And institutions are just going to absorb that. And I see that again. We're going to look over at the liquidations here. We're setting up a perfect rising wedge here, which we'll talk about in just a second. But is this liquidation event? I mean, there is way more money for market makers, the people that win in these markets, the venture capitals, the institutions. They're the winners. Retailers aren't the winners. If retailers were the winners, more than 16% of median income households would be able to afford a home. Right? So I expect more upside in this market still coming very, very soon. But the last few articles here before we cover some altcoins here with you guys is $435 million leaves Bitcoin, Ethereum, ETPs, and institutions eye altcoins. They're starting to focus on altcoin investments. I did see that in Dubai. A lot of venture capitals looking to start, especially in RWAs. I'm really bullish on RWAs. We have CryptoRank.io, the top 15 blockchains by number of unique addresses, BNB, Polygon Matic, Ethereum, Tron, Phantom, Optimism. I would say on this list here, I'm curious to get your thoughts, DZ. Just pick a top three. My top three here would probably be Optimism, Base, and I would have to say, I'm going to have to say two more on top of that, Aptos and Polygon. I think Polygon is going to have a comeback, but again, it's kind of a blue chip. It's already multi-billions of dollars in market cap. Aptos, I think, has got a lot of development coming. Optimism, though, by far my favorite with the most amount of smart contracts being deployed on this year.
Devs love the OP stack. I'll give some different choices. I like Matic just because all the tokens have been released versus an Optimism. I do like the choices you gave as well, but I think Glimmer, aka Moonbeam, could do quite well as well. That's a little bit of a gaming narrative, a little bit of a lot of hot narratives within that ecosystem. Parachain.
Hot take. We'll have to get some TA on that today too. Bankless disabled the comment section during their live stream interview with Eigenlayer. If people started complaining about the airdrop, this is going to happen. So I have to say, guys, when you have Bitcoin drop by 15%, your airdrops, when I'm going to gamble on an airdrop, like recent example is going to be LFG. LFG I gambled on hard because I was so bullish on Runes Protocol. Still, Runes Protocol, great call. We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars was flooding in the Runes Protocol while everything was dipping. Like that was the narrative. I still think it's going to be a huge narrative. We see everything pivoting over to Runes. So I still think that's going to happen. But this is what I'm talking about, retail sentiment. It is not at 67 greed. If it was at greed, they wouldn't be carrying, at 67 greed, they would not be caring about a mishap on an airdrop. They'd be chasing the next one. They would be jumping into, they're greedy, they're selfish. They're just jumping into each and every single one. But now we're at the point where retail is doing what we do in a bear market, which is complain about every mechanical issue that is going to take place. Airdrops are like 1 out of 10 hit like really, really well. They're very, very high risk. That I'll leave it at that point. So this is my point. When you see one of the most hyped up projects, Eigenlayer, great, phenomenal project. It's been hyped up for ages. Their retail attack in the airdrop, did they have mishaps? Probably. I haven't even looked into it at this point. But you're going to see more of that market sentiment shift to where bears start, posting a lot more bearish posts, because bearish posts, people want to blame. They want to point a finger. They want to go, despite seeing 10Xs, despite seeing 4Xs and me never selling because I never took profit, they want to blame. And that's what's telling me right now. I'm like, I seriously think the most amount of capitulation that would take place, the max pain would it be if markets pumped right now?
Yeah.
If they pumped within the next week?
I would agree. And you brought up Eigen. A lot of people are quite upset, about the geo locations and issues with it. Rand did a really good tweet. I do want to say, folks, there is a way. We do have a VPN sponsored down below, NordVPN. I always say follow local rules, regulations, but sometimes you can't participate depending on where you're at. And so NordVPN is a good way to get around that. Here's Rand's tweet on Eigen. Traditional VC scheme where VC insiders fleeced retail investors. Again, early VCs get in, small valuations, retail get in at 15 billion plus. Low circulation, high fully diluted value at start. Let's fleece more retail. Insiders have inside info on Snapshot and use it. Retail doesn't. Large areas in the world blocked from the airdrop. This is where you would need a NordVPN. Mostly the areas that really need blockchain and money freedom. Tokens are dropped, but they are locked until they decide to unlock them. Always hate when it says, not available in North Korea, Iran, and US. And you're like, what? Why are we in that list?
And if you could pull up the fear and greed index again for chat here.
Specifically, though, real quick, the Eigenlayer issue is they did not tell anyone that there was going to be a geo lock. And when they released it, there is not just a geo lock, there's a proxy lock. So you cannot use a VPN no matter what.
Yeah, there's people that are going
Eigenlayer.
around that. I know Taco, he figured it out. And we saw the same thing. I believe it was Blur. Blur did the same thing. They did not say, oh, if you live in this country, you're not eligible. And then, on the day of, everyone found out, quite pissed about it.
Yeah. And that's completely fair. It's also why it's completely fair for you to go get an NordVPN.
Yes. You need it no matter what.
Because no matter what, you need that. You need security. You need safety. That's what matters most. And seriously, guys, you may not know this, but I'm sure everyone in chat, put one in chat if you've ever done this. Have you ever connected to the airport Wi-Fi? Have you ever connected to any public Wi-Fi? Put one in chat if you have. If you have and you haven't, you don't use a VPN, you are risking so many security factors.
It's crazy talk.
Like I can't even, you're just asking for your wallet to get drained. So you never really want to connect to public Wi-Fi, but if you're going to, you want that VPN, you want that security, take that measure, guys. So everybody's like, no. Yeah, Taco Tuesdays. I want to answer a few questions here. What's the message? Are all charging in one direction for the next big thing? It's the opposite of path for it leads to great opportunities. 100% agree. There was another one though. I forgot where it got buried. But I want to ask chat. Is Solana dead? Yes or no?
No.
Is Solana dead? I would say I would agree on that side, but this is a crazy news event. Rollbit says that today is the last day for Rollbit on Solana to migrate to Ethereum. They're doing the opposite. They're migrating out.
Weird.
All Rollbit coin on the Solana network after May 1st will be considered dead supply and sequentially burned
if you
on
are
Ethereum.
a protocol that needs 24/7 uptime, maybe Solana, I'm not trying to be funny, maybe Solana is going to be the chain, it's like all of a sudden I can't play blackjack.
It is funny though. That's sad,
think all the revenue you might lose.
Yeah, it's true. Well, and I also think it's a huge part of the ZK rolls and everything, like 2 point, like their fees are coming down dramatically. Still not comparable to Solana, but you make a great point, right? They're like, dude, like people still want to play. They have a Web 2 audience that wants to be.
Imagine a Solana outage during the Super Bowl, and everyone has all these Super Bowl bets on Rollbit. That would just crater Rollbit's profitability, their feasibility, usability. It would kill the project.
That's a great point. Well, speaking of not a dead project, we have Cardano's whale activity exceeding high values, massive high values. I don't know how you feel about this. I gotta let you take away with this. I saw it. You love this?
I'm thinking about almost making a video on it. Yeah, it's very, very bullish. I was looking at it earlier. I might have undone it, but yeah, Cardano's whale. All right, so what happened last time? It looks like we had very good pump. So the exploded since November 8th. So this is the last time we had a nice little spike, was November 8th. It was the highest amount since then. So if we go ahead, let's just pull it up. I'm interested in looking at Cardano right now. So we're going to go ahead and pull up, not market cap, dang it. Tether US on Binance. Let's pull up the daily here. November 8th is the number that we need to look at here. This is the daily chart. So just so we could kind of see, we go back to November. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm seeing something pretty good. Is that little cool off period? No, a little bit ahead. All right, so we did end up, it was kind of at the tail end of a pump. Still got an additional pump. But if you look, it was just a little bit time later, November 8th. Let's go ahead and run this out. It took 1 month. 28 days later, we're kind of floating around sideways, 5% down, 5% up, nothing really crazy. And then boom, 36 days later, 80% pump for Cardano. And so that's what happened last time the whales were moving this much activity.
And I live by this. I think decentralized gambling is going to be a huge narrative. I don't think like the one thing is because guess That's what I think decentralized gambling is going to integrate. And I hate to admit this, but like it's just the truth. Meme coins are the new sports betting. This is the new gambling version. This is people would much rather bet on meme coins than sports bet. Also, it's just a lot easier retail friendly. You're betting on like, do you like a dog that's orange or a dog that's red? And then take that bet, right? That's like almost
the barrier to entry is so low.
Very low, right? You don't need to know all the analytics of rookie year and is his knee injured, all these things on the different, perspectives you're going in sports. It's way easier. So I think you're going to see that integration with these decentralized casinos. I think decentralized casinos have a huge upper hand and it's probably by far one of the best use cases for crypto because of the transparency, because it's the easiest pitch in the world. Why are you going to Vegas when you know the house is going to always win? When you know that we are open source, transparent, and it's fair odds?
Let me just speak on that 1 second. I was thinking about dollar scratch offs. What are the chances you can get 1,000x on a dollar scratch off? You have to buy more than 1,000 because if it was 1 per 1,000, that means there'd be no other winners, and they have to make a profit. So you probably have to buy 5,000 to 10,000 tickets, if not 20,000, 30,000 tickets. Just to get 1,000.
This is educational purposes only. I have to say we're on TikTok.
Yeah. So
education.
Yeah. So you got to buy 1,000 tickets, and you're not going to get 1,000x. But imagine if you did 10-minute research into 1,000 meme coins. Do you think you could get 1,000x out of 100 of those, 200 of those, let alone 10,000 of those?
And casinos, dude, this is just terrible to say, but they're recession proof.
They are.
Yeah. Like, because when people get it's just terrible to think about. But you guys have to it's about reality. It's about making money. So I'm just saying, pay attention to that out there. We do have, Swede did end up having some failures, but it's recovered some of its like 83% losses, whatever it was. But near protocol price prediction, I want to talk about AI really quick. A lot of people hold AI in deep in the chat. They're asking about AI in deep in. So, for me, I got out like March 17th, the day before GTC Summit, which ended up being like the exact top of these markets. Now, but what I want to say is I am now looking for the opportunity in a lot of these. They're finally come down to some healthy perspectives and corrections. Render, I don't think it's going to be one of those for me. It's retesting its previous all-time highs, which was at 71 cents. Wait, why is it broken like that? Oh, no, there we go. So it's about $7. But I want to click on market cap for Render. Market cap for Render, I think it still can come down to the $1.96 billion range. It is massively diluted since the last time it was Outlaw's bull run. So for Render, that isn't going to be what I'm looking at. But Near, we have to talk about Near. Near was an AI company first that transitioned into crypto. So they have a lot of, that background, that sentiment. They're in that AI sector. And the market cap is much better in my perspective than the Render for at least looking for a support or resistance level. So I don't know if the 6.1 is going to be that range, but I would say Near is something I want to start paying attention to if I was in that AI category on, maybe loading up a dollar cost averaging into an AI token. Mm-hmm. That is where I'll kind of land at that. I don't know if you have similar thoughts.
Well, I put out a video last night with that live, and I have an AI choice. And so, you know what? I'm just going to say, you guys, you have to go watch that.
That video.
I go to, it's like number 7 or number 8. Yep. So you can, if you want to skip towards the end to find it, you can.
One little bit of alpha I'll give you on the Render token front is they are highly incentivizing locking up Render token because that's what you need to run.
It's a great project.
A Render node.
A phenomenal project. Yeah. I think for me, it was just like the retail hype around it was so massive, so immense. Like they're just, so that's why I'm like, okay, is the support going to be $7 or is it going to be $5? Like I would probably dollar cost average into Render around 5.5. Because that will be that $1.9 billion market cap range, maybe low 6. But I want to find that support level. And so that's just for me, like being like, okay, well, if I choose Render, which is a much higher market cap than Near too as well. Like I think we can all agree in this room, AI is just getting started. It's not like it's like, oh, but that was it. It's just paused. We're not going to have superhumans in 2 years. It's like, no, that's a trajectory. So, again, I'm just looking for trades here. What else we got here? Near is near far, wherever you are. Bro spitting bars in chat here. Well, we have large token unlocks next month. So here's a warning. Breaking news. Share this with a friend. Screenshot this for Twitter. Shout out to Crypto Banter here. But Pith, $1.26 billion unlocking. SUI, $1 billion unlocking. AVAX, $330 million unlocking. Meme token, 147. Didix, 73. Guys, these unlocks are really, really big events that you want to pay attention to because it may be something that you say, hey, this is all happening in the month of May. Now, a lot of people, I want to get your thoughts. Sell in May and walk away. We're 8 months ahead of schedule. People forget about that. They're just like, completely disregarding the fact that we had an entire bull run. And they're like, oh, well, and I still think we're in that bull run, but they're like, it hasn't even gotten started yet. It's like, no, Bitcoin hit all-time highs pre-halving. we're 8 months ahead of schedule. So if that's the case, how are you going to use the same terminology of sell in May and walk away? That would be putting us in like something last year. What would it be August, September of last year? You should be like, sell in August and rhyme with August. I don't even have something for that, but you know, it's like, that's what I'm saying. So, you know, when that term comes out, I'm like I take that as a grain of salt. However, it's very important to watch these unlocks because it can tell you, hey, $1.2 billion, that's a lot of money unlocking on Pyth Network. You might see a decent amount of selling pressure coming from that, especially if markets are down, because retailers are going to want to, you know, take money off the table. We have Avalanche hooping game Rumble Kong League, and that's Gatorade deal. So Gatorade coming into the Web3 gaming industry. I still think we're very, very, very long out from Web3 games taking off. Yeah. Coming from the professional gaming background, so is DZ. We know streamed on Twitch. We know how these games work. You know, a lot of people out there, they might be bullish on Web3 gaming, but to be honest, they suck at video games and they have no idea how competitive play or how any of this actually generates. And the only way you're going to have a sustainable game is if you can make it competitive and make it addictive. And when you do that on top of trying to integrate tokenomics, it's near impossible. And for the love of God, somebody please hire us and just we'll tell you, just make NFT. That is the only use case for NFTs. You don't need a token. Just make your NFTs tradable in the game. All I want to be able to do is take my season 1 skin from Call of Duty that I know I can go sell on the black market for $2,000 and sell it. Take a 30% tax. I don't care. But that is like how you incentivize the community. And it would do so much better than them go, oh, well, we want greedy tokenomics. So that way we make more money and do a raise, make 300. It's bullshit.
And Epic Games will never do that until the number 3, number 4, number 5 competitors force their hand.
Yeah, exactly.
The number 1, number 2, number 3 people won't do it.
I 100% agree. And I think there is the argument, maybe a game studio has a token with incentivization somehow, but within the games, just open up the marketplace.
Yeah, imagine a OG Fortnite Skull Trooper skin, John Wick skin.
So much money. $10,000 probably for the originals.
During the peak of Fortnite, you probably could have got $10K for those.
Dude, and 100% agree. We have Animoca Brands though. Shout out to, again, guys, I'm telling you, Bitcoin's ecosystem. You guys don't fade it. Don't fade it. One of the largest Web3 brands for gaming coming into Rune's protocol here. Animoca Brands is looking to develop with the Opal protocol on Bitcoin. Massive thread here. This is on Bitcoin, which looks like actually a decent playable game. Now, again, you got to take that with a grain of salt because how many games look absolutely extraordinary like Starfield and come out and are just boring as shit? You know, so it's like even Bethesda makes boring games. You know what I'm saying? So that's what you need to realize when these games are being released. However, again, this looks sick. I wish them the best. I never will bash on a Web3 game. I just think they should build it separately and they just may not know better. But again, I think it's a big industry. We have Bitcoin testnet griefing attack generates 3 years worth of blocks in 1 week, frustrating developers. There's always going to be just issues as we have network opportunity. And Apple poaches Google AI staff creating secretive laboratory reports. They're getting AI, which leads me to this video right here, DZ. I want to get your thoughts on this. Does this freak you out? Chat, does this scare you? Yes or no? Yes or no? Are you comfortable with AI hyper-realistic dogs? This is a real dog. It's not an AI image. They used a humanoid, creepy, I don't know what Boston Dynamics
Me and you have much different feeds. On my feed today, I saw someone saying the pain points of these robot dogs and where to put your brass and lead, and where the power supply is and other things. So we just have much different feeds.
It's just like the opposite. I just want they're like,
this one's trying to psyop it into your home, and mine is like how to keep it from your home.
They're like, oh, your dog is gonna love it. Your dog needs a friend. Get this AI humanoid that can listen to every single conversation you have.
Now, I do see some of these having 20 leashes, and it's leading the wolf pack around a neighborhood.
Dude, I just don't know. You just know that AI dog is the government listening in on you. Like how many times are they Verizon and all these going to get in trouble for leaking information?
Well, I have a smartphone, so I gave up any semblance of privacy long ago.
There's been so many 3-letter agencies that have been even if you have your battery out of the phone, I can hear you. You're like, whoa, I don't know what they're doing. So anyways, not to get again, that was just random tinfoil hat, Josh. But again, I don't know how I feel about that. I'll have robots. Look, I'm telling you this right now. If I can buy a $10,000, maybe, F it, $60,000 robot that's a personal chef for the rest of my life, dude, look, I might have to do it. I may have to do it. Past that though, DZ, I don't know if you got anything left here. We'll just take some questions from the chat.
Well, if I can't wipe my bottom, I'll definitely pay a robot too in the future. That's all I got, folks. I'll probably go ahead and make some content on that Cardano stuff. I'm going to look in the charts, get a little bit crazy. Tejano, I guess he has the same feed as me. iRobot Will Smith is the future. As long as the robot's eyes don't turn red, we're going to be good.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be the main takeaway. And as long as you hit the like button, we're going to be good. So make sure you go ahead and hit that like button on the way. Folks, me and Josh
We'll
are
be
going to go
live
ahead and collaborate for tomorrow's
later
content.
tonight.
Ooh.
We're going to be live
another
later
live?
tonight. We're going to be
There's
live later
another
tonight.
live coming.
Got some big things, guys. Peace out.